That's right. It's time for the news. Part news. New York, New York. Hundreds of people from across the country came together from November 8th and 9th, 2019 for the 15th annual National Pre-Black Law Conference and Law Fair 2019, sponsored by Access Lex Institute. This year's event was hosted by Columbia Law School in New York City, New York. Nearly 700 aspiring black law students in attendance. This conference brought together the largest number of black law school aspirants gathered in one place for any one pre-law event in the country. In addition to the pre-law attendees, pre-law advisors, as well as parents and supporters also attended. Further, over 170 law students, lawyers, and law school law firms and nonprofit administrators served as speakers, panelists, presenters, honorees, advisors, networking facilitators, and volunteers to encourage, empower, and support future black law students. The goal of the conference was to provide law school aspirants with information, resources, and connections they otherwise would not have access to in order to help make them more excellent, strategic, and competitive law school applicants and law students. This is a good thing, man. Good thing to jumping off, and that happened in New York. That was back last month. But this event is offered completely free of charge and is open to all. For updates and information about next year's event, which will take place at Cambridge in Boston, Massachusetts in November 2020, please visit our official conference website, www.blackprelawconference.org. That's BLACKPRELAWCONFERENCE, blackprelawconference.org. So that's anybody out there that's aspiring to be a lawyer, hey, that's the way to go. Go ahead and check that out. I mean, what you got to lose? So it says on this particular story here, prosecutors said Tuesday, which was yesterday, that 25 Maryland Correction Tactical Unit officers have been indicated and also indicted on hundreds of counts related to using excessive force, intimidation, and destruction of evidence to ensure dominance in its operational territory across state correctional facilities. The indictment outlines a criminal enterprise operating inside the state's correctional system that includes leaders of the tactical unit. Prosecutors said they have identified 25 incarcerated victims. Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby said the operation involved guards and personnel. She said the charges range from participation in a criminal gang to misconduct in office. Mosby said the indicted officers were in charge of responding to incidents and maintaining order in jail facilities, but instead abused their positions in pursuit of maintaining their criminal enterprise. While the investigation into the unit began in 2018, authorities ultimately found criminal acts dating back to 2016. So they got them. So it's like in October 2016, federal agents indicted 80 people in the largest prison corruption case in Maryland history. Corrections officers and inmates were charged with smuggling heroin, cocaine, cell phones, and pornography into the Eastern Correctional Institute in Somerset County on Eastern Shore. So, you know, hey, they got cop watch going on over here, and this is this is over in Maryland, over in Baltimore, you know, Maryland and the state of Maryland, you know, where they got a lot of bad corrupt cops over there, man. They're all over the place. So they catching them though. That attorney general is busting them left and right. So here we go here with another story. The D.C. dunce staked his position on America's public schools in his inaugural address when he referred to them as part of American carnage. His educational secretary, Betsy the offensive DeVos, once called them a dead end, perpetuating a myth that American public education is failing everyone. There are, to be sure, public schools that are failing kids sometimes horribly, but there are others that are trying and finding innovative and humane ways of educating students and trying to close the achievement and opportunity gaps that harm students from historically disadvantaged groups. And telling their story is as important as calling out their failure. So, against this backdrop, below is a profile of Casco Bay High School in Portland, Maine, the first of 7 I will publish about the newest honorees of an educational project called Schools of Opportunity. The project, which started in 2014 as a pilot in 2 states and went national in 2015 and 2016, recognizes publicly funded high schools that work to create learning environments to reach every student and close those existing gaps. So, schools submit applications explaining why they should be recognized. Next year's application cycle is already open, and if you know a potential school of opportunity, you may visit schoolsofopportunity.org. That's schoolsofopportunity.org, and the deadline is by January 31st. If you want to get one of your schools, mentioned here. And Wellner, the founder of Schools of Opportunity Project and a director of National Education Policy in the University of Colorado at Boulder, and a professor specializing in educational policy and law. Kelly is also a former assistant dean of teacher education and partnerships and former director of outreach and engagement at the University of Colorado at Boulder. So we got some good things jumping off here, and these education classes, they teaching outside the box, taking the kids out and doing things just like if you were homeschooling your kids. You could take your kids on field trips just about every week. You can take them to the museum, you can take them to all these different places, and so they can get firsthand, hands-on experience in life, rather than inside the classroom all the time. So this is a good thing that they got going on here, and so that's alternative education is seems like the only thing you can do nowadays, because a lot of these schools are falling behind. That's the news for the day. Some little bongos in here. News! News, baby! It's the news!